Joining the broadcast at this hour is Mike Bienenfeld. He is the co-head of SEC compliance at Linklaters. Did I get that right? Linklaters?
You got it, Linklaters.
Thanks a lot for joining us. It's great to see you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we've heard repeatedly from Lynn Martin. She is, of course, the president of the New York Stock Exchange. She is very bullish, and she's not alone, about the general IPO space for 2026. What's your take about what we can expect?
Well, I'm looking at this from an international perspective. I'm based in London. I'm a U.S. securities lawyer based in London. Been there for 26 years. I'm very young looking. You wouldn't have thought, but there you go. So we're very excited about the prospect of more and more international European companies looking to New York for a primary listing or as part of a dual listing strategy. There's a number of companies who are looking at moving their primary listings across from Europe to New York. So I think there's a lot of activity and a lot of excitement from where I'm sitting.
Is it regulatory burdens in Europe? That tends to be one of the kind of go-to narratives, that maybe there's some onerous regulations on companies trying to enter the public space on the other side of the pond, and so more and more they're looking to U.S., or a bit more complicated than that?
I think it's probably a bit more complicated. I think no one ever thinks of the U.S. as a light touch regulatory
Sure.
regime, but it's often a mix of commercial, legal, and regulatory that will drive these decisions. A lot of companies are looking at the kind of their business and where their business is focused. Do they have a big U.S. presence, or other reasons why they want to tap U.S. capital, or tap the attention of U.S. Analysts and investors? So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Has this overall interest shifted significantly here in 2025, or are you kind of expecting the pace that we're at now had been more or less on your radar for quite some time?
I think it was a bit, it was sort of building over the last couple of years. There were some high profile examples of companies pushing their primary listings across, or looking at the U.S. for their sole listing. And I think that momentum has started to build. Once there were a couple of success stories, a lot of other companies were looking at this option.
Yeah, I think if Carnival Cruises comes to mind as a dual listed company.
Yeah.
We got a lot up in Toronto, Canadian-based companies, Canadian banks, oil and energy companies. They trade at the Toronto Stock Exchange, but they might also choose to dual list here at the New York Stock Exchange. Why is it advantageous for a lot of those companies to have one placement in one country, but also say, we want a piece of the action here in New York?
Yeah, I mean, look, the U.S. is the deepest pool of capital in the world, so what's not to like about that? I think the analysts understand certain sectors really well, and that's attractive. I think sometimes companies think they're going to get a bump to their multiple in New York for sectors that might not be as well understood in other environments. A lot of times you'll do a dual or triple listing strategy when you're trying to tap different pools of capital. So I think there's a lot that goes into it.
We had an easing of borrowing rates announced from the U.S. Fed today. We're seeing comparable moves from some major central banks around the world, but not all of them.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about the Bank of Japan raising rates, a few others going the other direction. What does an easing of monetary policy in the U.S. do for the conversation?
I'm not sure it shifts it that much. I'm not sure how much a company's going to think, oh, I'm going to list in the U.S. because there was a movement by the Fed, to be honest. Obviously, it has an impact on stock prices and things like that, but obviously that's kind of a temporary thing. So I think maybe a company will be looking at the sort of economic policies of any particular government, but I'm not sure it would drive a listing decision.
Mike Bienenfeld, the co-head of SEC compliance at Linklaters. First time here on Taking Stock, but it certainly won't be the last. Come back anytime.
Thanks very much.
It's been great to have you.